Hello and welcome back to W on the Wrestling and to Forbidden Door out of 10. Yeah, very lucky to be at this event myself, and yeah, a fun show it was. So let's get straight into it without further ado. And yeah, we're going to start off with the matches we saw on the 0 hour show. Paragon, El Desperado and Yuji Amora versus CRU and the Don Callis family. And after a back and forth clash in the ring, Amora was left alone with Leo Rush and caught him with a deadbolt for the win. The Don Callis family and CRU all attacked the winning team until Ishii arrived. He planted Lance Archer with a brainbuster, sending the heels running. The two stories of this match were Amira looking unstoppable and Strong and O'Reilly still disagree on who they can trust. The first was easier to see, a welcoming loud crowd could have even used to focus more on hot tag for a rising New Japan star. The second made it more awkward, but I hope the payoff's coming down the line. At this stage, Strong's distrust of allies comes off as simply bad strategy, especially in moments like this. It amounted to a guest and all opener, but it still can hopefully indicate Amura will be good in the AEW, especially this will be the last Forbidden Door for Tanahashi. He could take that spot, if you know what I mean. So yeah, 5 out of 10 for this lane, but you know, promising signs. The home country hero Michael Uku took some big dumps, are teaming up with Jet Speed to take on Ricochet and the Gates of Agony, but he got Ricochet to Leona and Khan isolated him for the opening gates, followed by Spirit Gun to win. While Uko has limited appearance in AEW, he was a clear favourite throughout this match and played well to the crowd. He was the heart of this match, from his ill-advised bump early on to running up and nearly pulling off the upset. It was not a surprise that Uko lost in the end, as he's the only competitor not signed to AEW. Hopefully this is another strong sign that AEW will consider signing him though, and he could be up there one of their best signings this year. 6 out of 10. Due to some miscues throughout, in the next match, Harley Statlander and Arthur and Widow against the Triangle of Madness and Bane. Yeah, the overwhelming force of Megan Bane and the Triangle of Madness was kind of there. The Megasys made sure that Willow Nightingale was knocked off the apron before planting Harley Cameron with Elijah Bomb to get the win. Unsurprisingly, this was the best action we saw in the night so far, putting 8 of the best in the women's division against each other. They've been fighting consistently, and you know, this was their best match. Bane looked unstoppable, especially if this culminates in bone guts. I think that'd be great, but the Megasys needed to be unbeatable here. Stat and Willow cannot get along. Queen Amanata's too focused on Fettler, and Hart and Sky Blue are a strong team in AEW right now. This match worked and could have been on the main card. Moving on into the Ops versus Bullet Club War Dogs for the World Trios titles. Connors, Driller Mahoney and Robbie X showed a steady aggressive streak that challenged the Ops more than most others so far. However, they were too resilient, running over the Bullet Club and seeing them win with Muscle Buster. This was a fun car crash style bout, just 6 men delivering haymakers and steady impact offense. The ending almost came out of nowhere, but the Ops have consistently shown the ability to ramp up quickly and take out their opponents at once. It could have been a bit more drama, but it was nice nonetheless to put focus on lesser stars. However, at the end of the day, it was good fun to close out 0 hour and left room to go for the main card. They were never going to reign here. So yeah, well, 6 out of 10. Moving on into the main card, it was Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne. Cage slowly won over the crowd despite struggling to find his confidence in a contesting kill switch. Once he had the crowd behind him, Christian also found synergy with Adam Copeland. The Rated R Superstar speared kill switch out of the ring. Then the Patriarch elevated Sabian for a coat spear to take him for the win. It was a story-driven match, and it was crowd-pleasing. Kill switch was well protected throughout, with Sabian taking the pull. But by the end, it was clear the Rated R Superstar and the Patriarch still have it, but they will need to do more work to do, especially coming up against FTR. But a fun start to the show, and the crowd was hot. 7 out of 10. As we then moved on to the TNT title match between Fletcher and Takahashi. After testing Fletcher more than he ever expected, Takahashi almost caught the Protostar with a small package counter to the Brainbuster, but Fletcher kicked out and transitioned into a successful Brainbuster for the win. The first true standout of the night, the Time Bomb finally got a solo focus and he made the most of it. They started slow from a particularly dramatic perspective, but the Time Bomb took over the focus of this match and the resilience was challenged. The way he rallied and sold a update made it unpredictable. Fletcher stepped up to a Time Bomb as the pace rose to feed the pitch. By the close, the men were equals in terms of who should fight. The Protostar could not lose here. If Hiromu could be brought back regularly to compete in AEW, then I very much hope he would be, because he was great. Yeah, so yeah, this gets 9 out of 10 from me. Moving on into Mercedes Moné, Alex Windsor, Persephone and Bozilla. Moné escaped with a win against 3 women that overpowered her throughout. Persephone took out Ozilla and Willa and Windsor only for the CEO to reverse her crucifix bomb to stack a pin for 3. The chaos of the match highlighted the strength of the best 3 powerhouses on their brands. The CEO survived the win, but she was focused on giving her challengers the spotlight they needed to walk out of this match bigger stars. Brazilla walked into the match with released hype behind her and immediately fit in as the main threat of the contest. She was sold as unmatchable by anyone as a competitor. During the stretch, she struggled a bit to keep the pace due to some miscommunication, but that may have been expected. She's still young, learning. Persephone also did great, didn't quite get as many big spots, and Windsor was a crowd favourite. But yeah, it feels like the beginning of a rivalry between her and CO, which I'd be excited to see. 6 out of 10. Before we got ZSJ versus Nigel McGuinness, who wrestled a technical masterclass, grappling around the ring and barely giving each other space. In the end, ZSJ cancelled the pin attempt with a sunset flip pin. For 3. The crowd show respect to the challenger. Garcia seemed frustrated but hugged his mentor to cool himself down. Pure technical wrestling is surprisingly rare, but ZSJ has always had this unique perspective. McGuinness played the champion's game but found himself outmatched. Down the stretch, his best strikes, especially variants, were his best answer to the finesse of ZSJ. The strategy and technique delivered was kind of different to everything on the card. It didn't deliver a major drama, but it was so finely executed. It was perfect what it was. 8 out of 10. Moving on then to the Hurt Syndicate versus FTR versus Brodido. The Hurt Syndicate had trouble keeping up the insane pace of the other 2 teams, but eventually they took control. It was then taken away from them by a shock attack from Ricochet and Gates and Agony that left Bandido and Brody King to catch Dax with the finisher for the win. The high-paced team spectacle had some incredible spots, but it got sloppy down the stretch. Brody King was the star of the show. For anyone that didn't see him, he's a major breakout star. He stood up to everyone and looked like he was too much for even the Almighty until they double teamed him. It was the right choice in the end to go for Brodido. It came out of nowhere. The finish is somewhat questionable, especially with questions lingering over whether the Hurt Syndicate was willing to put anyone over clean. It did set up a great rivalry for Hurt Syndicate though against the Gates of Agony that should solidify them. This will especially work when it reveals MJF's role. Also, Lashley and Benjamin bumped big for their challenges throughout. It was only the actual finish that protected them. The follow-up will decide how much protection actually matters, but the future is definitely bright for them. And yeah, it could be an interesting challenge for Brodido, and the stage is still set for FTR versus Copeland and Cage. So yeah, on the whole, I thought it all made sense, and I'd give it 6 out of 10. Swerve Strickland then walked into the match against Okada with a vulnerable knee, and Okada went after his neck, leaving him a hobbled man. Still, the mogul fought hard, testing the Rainmaker almost to his limit. Swerve caught him with a house call, but Okada dodged a second and hit a Rainmaker for the win. Afterwards, Okada trapped Swerve's knee in the steps and blasted it with a steel chair. Nana made the save with a pipe. Wardlow made his shot return, beating at Nana. Security tried to intervene but got laid out while Swerve watched in frustration and pain. Wardlow then hugged Tallis and almost every member of the family. Takeshita came out last to stare down Wardlow and stand with the family with some apprehension. Swerve and Okada clicked to deliver the most complete match of the night to this point. The psychology focus of Okada wearing down Swerve all the way to breaking point was effective. The mogul didn't need to always sell his injuries, but down the stretch it was clear in nearly every move that Swerve was running out of time to win. Danielson on commentary sold this was Okada taking Swerve's mantle as the most dangerous man and felt very appropriate after what was delivered. The Rainmaker stands atop the man in the Don Callis, a group that not even can be more dangerous than the return of Wardlow. The way he destroyed everyone in his path and laughed in Swerve's face was a perfect reintroduction for him. With the Death Riders losing control of AEW, the family has become a new big bad team. This is AEW's clearest story for the future, especially with the return of Takeshita, and yeah, I'm very intrigued to see where it all goes. 8 out of 10. Next up was Toni Storm versus Athena. Athena took her time mocking Timeless early in this match, but the Timeless one refused to go down easily, even with an obvious neck injury hobbling her. Billy Starks protected Athena when Storm started to get back until Shirakawa got involved. The Timeless one encountered the O-Face into a crossface chicken wing to win by submission. Physicality and technical made this unforgettable. The Forever Champion went after the neck while brutal efficiency when Storm removed sluggishly and without focus behind her strikes due to the focus. The two women flowed when they needed to, including an incredible finish, showing a chemistry that should be further explored. This is a disappointing result, despite how great Storm remains. It just felt like it's time for a change. I mean, Storm's so solid now, but the women's division's loaded, and I think Athena, you really would have been elevated. Time will tell, though, if it's the right decision, but for what it was, I thought it was great. Gets a 9 out of 10 from me. Moving on then to Hangman versus MJF. MJF tried to steal this match time and time again, even nearly taking it after a ref bump, low blow and heat seeker. However, Hangman got his foot on the rope when Mark Briscoe helped the ref see in time. MJF couldn't get the win with a low blow or the contract shot, as the Cowboy blasted him back with the contract, followed by a dead iron buckshot for the win. As the official main event This was a classically style world title about preying on the crowd and focusing on the narrative. Hangman was fighting angry and MJF hoped to take advantage to steal. The start of the Earth and found the Collar matched him cheap trick for cheap trick, and they wouldn't hesitate all the way to the finish. It was an overt battle down the stretch with plenty of shenanigans, which will not be to everyone's liking. The first pay-per-view match was much cleaner and a stronger contest overall, but this was great for fan engagement, and the whole pacing was good. This does leave a clear challenge to MJF. If he wants to be a true world champion again, he cannot steal it away with Hangman. He's going to need to earn it, but a clean match would pay off this contest whilst focused in a big way. So yeah, I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Moving on then to the lights out steel cage match, and after a brutal sport heavy battle, Jackson was left alone in the ring for Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega's combination of a hidden blade one-winged angel followed by a high fly flow from Tanahashi to win. After helping Darby to his feet for a full babyface celebration, the ring was left to Ospreay only for the Death Riders to trap him, hitting repeated Death Riders. The Ops arrived to help everyone, but they couldn't do so, and a final stomp from Mox with a steel chair wrapped around Ospreay's neck. Even a list of notable moments below does not fully encapsulate the wildness of the match. It's a credible hardcore battle, delivering so many brilliant matches. Darby Allin was the healthiest face in this match and took so many wild bumps throughout. Ospreay must have suffered the second most, though, which is ridiculous given his current health. Luckily, everyone went off safely after a brutal Death Riders follow-up destruction to write him off. A wild end to note, and yeah, unfortunately we're not going to see Ospreay for some time, but Ospreay v Mox in a pay-per-view main event is going to be incredible. On a night that mostly went according to plan, AEW delivered another electric multi-man hardcore brawl and a shiny moment that will be talked about for months to come. So yeah, I thought this was absolutely excellent and gets a 10 out of 10 from me. Overall, Forbidden Door gets a 6 out of 10 from me. I thought, this was another strong pay-per-view. I mean, AEW's hit such a high bar. I don't feel like it was probably the greatest ever pay-per-view we've seen for AEW, and that's probably why it's a kind of a victim of a slightly low grade here. I thought, well, it was fun. It wasn't maybe the memorable pay-per-views we'll see, but I thought on the most part it was a really good show. Really loved the main event especially. This video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Follow us on our socials. Link in the description below for daily wrestling news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now. That'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.